Oh, wow! Oh, gee, it's the OGs!
Hi, PopPop.
Hi.
We're tuning in today in PopPop's Adventure Corner to remember the good old days in Los Angeles, down on Main Street. I've heard you had some pretty extraordinary adventures back in the old days. Could you tell us about Injun Joe?
Injun Joe. Indian Joe. He used to be on 5th and Main Street. There, just around the corner of a little place. He usually was there after store hours or on Saturday and Sunday, and he had the whole place where he could display his merchandise. And he used to sell, he was the medicine man of all the derricks that used to come around there for some reason or other. Where he expected to make his money, I don't know, but he made his money selling them different drugs. Mostly sanitary drugs for gonorrhea, and that was a big thing with him. He had some kind of cure for it or something, and he sold us here to these poor schnooks that used to be the judges of Fifth Street. That's trade Indian Joe, they used to call him. Then finally, I think the health department got after him, and he had to quit.
Well, some of those medicines for sexual diseases had terrible things in them, like mercury, silver sulfate. They could poison you.
This nobody ever knew about that. They were all of them uneducated as to what kind of drugs were what kind of drugs. So they put their hard-earned dollars, it was quarters that they used to stand there begging for and spend it on these drugs there. In addition to Fifth Street, right around the corner there on Main Street, not too far from the corner, there was a store that this outfit used to rent and bring in exotic animals and show them off there, and it was a very small fee. And another thing I remember was the dance hall that they had upstairs on Fifth Street, there around Fifth and Main, close to it, where it was 10 cents a dance. Now you bought $1 worth of tickets, which was $10, 10 tickets, and they had a band there that played for a couple minutes to a song. You got up and you danced. If you didn't want to dance, you could sit at the table and order drinks there. And that's part of that part. Now there's also a market there. I can't think of the name of that market. It's a huge market, and all different kind of goods were sold in that market. Mostly groceries and delicacies stuff.
Well, that's still there. That's the Grand Central Market at 3rd and Broadway.
That is so true. And I was working at that time there. This was many years later. I was working there, and I was working for a company called
Kerman.
What?
Kerman.
Kerman Foods. First, I was working for an importer of Swedish stuff, material, all kind of lingonberries and all different exotic canned goods, foods there. And I had an old truck that the guy owned the truck, and I went around with different samples of it and trying to sell to the markets. It had an old man there. He was so sloppy, I don't know how anybody ever bought anything from him. And I was full of life. I went in and I sold to the different markets, different things. But I went, instead of going to delicatessen, which would buy half a dozen cans of tuna or whatever it was that I was selling at that time, crabs, canned crab meat.
From Sweden?
And I went to the market, the different markets around town there, and I sold cases of of this market wanted to know how many cases I had. I says, all you want? He says, give me 10 cases of it. That was a huge sale there. And I went around to other places where I could sell that there. Then I was getting $18 a week at that time for that. And I was married, and we were living in Los Angeles there around near Sunset and what was the other? What was the other street that we lived on?
On Sunset?
Well, anyway, this other little street off of Figueroa was on. It was a nice little place there. There was a few bungalows on this big lot there, and a German family owned it all. They rented different
Around Echo Park.
Echo Park, yeah.
What did you think of those lingonberries, Barbara?
We love
look who's
them.
here.
Hey, we have
Oh
company.
my gosh.
Okay.
Ryan.
Hi.
Hi, it's Eagle and Richard.
Oh, wow! Oh, gee, it's the OGs.